In this video, we apply our understanding of circular functions to the more complicated extended response style questions. For those who don't know me, my name is Chris Iannazzoni. I've been tutoring for around 2 years now, and I make these videos so that VCE students can do the best they can in math methods. With that out of the way, let's get into it. The good news about these kinds of questions is that they are very consistent. The question will always cover something that either moves in a circular motion, like for example a Ferris wheel, or something that is periodic in nature, like high tides and low tides. A lot of the effort for these kinds of questions is going to be to figure out how to create your equation that describes that scenario, because once you have that equation, you can pretty much answer any question you like. We use the following framework when it comes to creating these kinds of equations. Let's give it a shot. So, the quickest thing to find is usually the period of your circular function, and this is just going to be how long it takes for the thing in your scenario to repeat once. In this case, we're talking about the tides. So this sentence here that says the time between high tides tells us that the period of this scenario is going to be 12 hours. The reason finding the period is important is because we can use it to calculate n. All we do is sub in the value of the period and then rearrange for n. From there, the next easiest thing to do would either be to find the amplitude or the vertical translation of your circular function. They're pretty much just as easy as each other, so for the purposes of this video, we're going to start by finding out the vertical translation. We're told that the average depth of the wave is going to be 5 meters. That's another way of saying that the average value of the circular function, or the mid-level of the circular function, is 5 meters. Hence, c is going to be 5. If you aren't flat out told what the vertical translation is, then you could always calculate it by finding the midpoint between the peak and the trough, if you have that information. Anyway, next up we have the amplitude, which is always going to be the distance between the peak and the mid-level of the circular function. In this case, we're told that a high tide is 8 meters, so the difference between that and the mid is just going to be 3 meters. Hence the amplitude will be 3. Now this is a potential issue. We know that the amplitude is 3, but we don't know if the A term itself is going to be positive or negative. The question doesn't actually give us enough information to figure this out. So here's the workaround. If you have a horizontal translation term, it doesn't matter what you choose A to be, positive or negative. There will always be some horizontal translation that will make it work. So, okay, let's just choose positive because it tends to be nicer to work with positive numbers. All we do from here is try to solve the horizontal translation, and we can always do that by subbing in a known point. In this case, we're told that there is a high tide at noon. Noon in this scenario just means t equals 0. So, when we sub in our point, we're going to sub in t equals 0 and y equals 8. If we sub that in, along with all the other terms that we solved for, then once we rearrange, we figure out that we have a circular function that has just a single unknown variable that we can solve for. In this case, it's just solving for where sine is equal to 1, which gives us a value of pi over 2. So, just like that, we figured out our circular function. Now, here's the thing. Your book might have a different answer. That doesn't necessarily mean that the answer you have is wrong. This is just because there are multiple ways of expressing the same circular function. One such example is that we could convert this circular function to an equivalent cosine by using the quarter angle formula. This is just one of many ways that we could rewrite this exact same circular function. Coincidentally, this quarter angle formula is actually important because if you're not allowed to have a horizontal translation in your circular function, then this is a potential way of getting rid of that. If you found this video helpful, then you should consider joining my free community. I host a Q&A call every week to personally help you through any of your specific questions, and you'll also get access to more resources like this, including written and recorded lecture content, as well as practice exams and SACs with detailed solutions. It's pretty cool, you should check it out. I'll see you there.